Well, Happy New Year, January 1st, 1862. Now, I just did a project for ironclads, but I can't build them. It's kind of a waste of money and time to do projects that don't give me anything. So I want to make sure that maybe it was just needed me to do a day or two. New Orleans is my biggest port. Build. I don't see. Broadside ironclad is the thing I just did, isn't it? Why can't I do that? Import treaties with Europe. Oh, screw you. I'm gonna do that cavalry reform if it goes another month, just so I can start building my horse artillery. I don't really need the horse artillery until I get the 3-inch ordnance. Everything is connected. My artillery for my cavalry is the 3-inch. Now the cavalry is good, but it has to have carbines and it has to have artillery support. Otherwise it's not any good. We saw that in the one battle where the cavalry got totally behind the enemy and didn't do anything because they didn't have. Oh, we will go with weapon production. How can we not? What we just do? Industry. I'm gonna turn the South into an industrial power yet. So now we all know now that when it says weapons delivered, it doesn't mean that you got all the weapons at that instant. What it means is that you ordered that many weapons, and when it tells you they're delivered, it means it's finished giving them to you. So you get them over time. If you order 50,000 weapons, it doesn't say weapons delivered and you get 50,000 weapons. It means for the last 6 months you've been getting those weapons. But anyway, all we want is to see that the guys have rifles. So when they fight in the battles in the spring, they're not taking a 250 meter or yard weapon into a fight versus a 400-yard one. Army of Northern Virginia, you get them first because you're my main guys. They fight the most battles, so they get the stuff first. Now, I don't think anybody still has. They don't count. They're not going anywhere. I don't know who we're handing you to. I'm hoping this is the start of what I will call the third corps. But we need more than that. I need 1,500 to make a brigade. And I'm not using the draftees. I'm sorry. Now, if I get through the winter without making videos about housekeeping, I'll be happy. Because it means in the spring my troops will be better armed and they will be trained. And hopefully some of these brigades that were half strength will be brought up. Well, how are we doing on that comparison? 227,000 Yankees, 210,000. I'd say we're doing pretty damn good. The only thing is, if their 210,000 is all in Virginia, and half of mine are in Tennessee and Missouri, I want a third corps for the Army of Northern Virginia. $16, $35, $51, $60, $80, $100. You can see the problem. Confederate rifles. Now see these, I'm going to do that because the Fayetteville rifle and Richmond rifles are actually pretty dang good. It's January, so we got February and March, so I got 60 days. What can you build me in 60 days? Richmond rifle, Richmond carbine. This is for the cavalry. Well, you gotta start somewhere. Yeah, we're not gonna get enough to do anything with before spring. All we can do now is set the factory lines up. In order to start, if you start production with something, you got to build the line, right? The workers have to learn what part they're making, what this, blah, blah, blah. You just can't start churning out massive amounts of anything on the production line until you build the line. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Things look pretty good, though. Wait a second. 229 or 228 versus 212. I can't cry. I was outnumbered. How do I build that third core? Now, how do I build that third core? There's one, two. Well, hell, that's two divisions out of three. I prefer four, but out of three. I don't care where you're from. So we're going to need a bunch of artillery. If we're going to have a new corps, we're going to have artillery. We're not going to waste a genius cavalry commander like that on an artillery battalion. I know, Pelham, you're sitting there waiting. When will you get your job? Now, Pelham deserves to be allowed to be a horse artillery commander. And he deserves. Nobody knows who he is today. He was probably the most brilliant horse artillery commander of the Civil War. So to put him anyplace else would be like, to insult him. And he was a Confederate, and I'm a frickin' Yankee. And I still will give him the courtesy of being a horse artillery commander. The horse artillery is not like regular artillery. Horse artillery has to be able to keep up with the cavalry and be able to present itself. Well, I think you get the idea. It's not just regular artillery. Just like the cavalry is not regular. The cavalry is not infantry. You're like, Bullwinkle, that's an obvious statement. Oh. The difference between cavalry and infantry is infantry comes in mass with rifles. When 4,000 infantry with rifles show up, 6,000 cavalry with pistols is in trouble. Which is why they need their horse artillery. And they need their carbines and all the other stuff. Once they get those, they are more potent. Oh, is it rock, scissors, paper? In the beginning, infantry has more numbers and their weapons are pretty much the same. I mean, mixed muskets and cavalry are both crap. So infantry wins because it has numbers. Cavalry advantage is that it has horses and can ride places where you can't shoot them and then come at you that way. Once the cavalry gets those frickin' repeating weapons and some artillery and support, they turn into the weapons that predict the future. Get there the firstest with the mostest was what they say Bedford Forrest said. I don't know if he said that or not. I don't know if he was that ignorant or not to talk that way, but Can you tell I'm on my 8th Manhattan? I discovered the Manhattan today, and boy, I didn't know whiskey could do that. We're going to finish another month without a fight, which is good. Not being out in the cold means not so many soldiers die from being out in the cold. Now the Union or the Confederate AI was just stupid in the frickin' winter. But the Union AI seems to be... I'm going to do the cavalry. I'm going to do it. I can't wait no longer. What this does it allows me. I don't want to transfer. It allows me to recruit horse artillery, and I'm going to recruit them at full strength. I'm still not using you. I'm sorry. You're too good as a cavalry commander to be restricted. And Pelham, I'm getting you, buddy. But you're going to be Virginia. Don't worry. I'm going to give you a red and white fucking uniforms because I'm an idiot. There you go, buddy. The only officer I held back for a specific job the entire time. And I guess I got a soft spot in my heart for the boy. Oh, well. Anybody who knows anything about the Civil War knows who John Pelham is. He means nothing to me, but I respect. Oh boy, these boy Manhattans, 8 of them, are making me all nostalgic again. You know how goofy I get when I get there. I don't hate the Confederates. The Confederates hated the Yankees for another 100 years. The Yankees were like, well, the war's over, let's be friends. It took the Spanish-American War to kind of make up the differences between North and South. The North went out of its way to include people who had fought for the South or units that had been Southern in the Spanish-American War. Joseph Wheeler was in command of the cavalry division. The Rough Riders were commanded by Fort Leonard Wood. Leonard Wood. The second command was Theodore Roosevelt. Leonard Wood got promoted when the other guy got sick, and then Roosevelt became commander of the Rough Riders. I've often wondered, and I don't know if it would make a good game or a really bad movie. Let's suppose that the South had said, we're leaving the Union, and the North had said, okay, fine, let's be friends. So you end up with two countries in North America, one the North American United States, and the other the Confederate States. Now, how long could they exist together before they got mad, or could they stay friends? Now, you know the South is going to go and try to take over places like Cuba and Haiti and all that, right? They're going to go and try to take over places in Mexico. As both nations expand west, they're going to come into conflict at some point, right? But suppose that they haven't actually came to blows yet, and then a thing like World War I in Europe starts. And the USS Lusitania, which is sank by a U-boat with 113 Americans on board, and half of them are Northern and half of them are Southern. Would the two Americas ally to fight Germany? And if they sent troops to Europe, would they be two separate armies, or would they be one combined army? Okay, we're getting carried away there. I'm sorry. We won't go there anymore. But you got to remember, you always have to remember, the South was not trying to overthrow the North. The South was trying to establish its own country. Being a Yankee, I'm glad we won. Being American, I'm glad we won, because I think it's better that all these states are together rather than two separate countries. So it's only a hypothetical thing, okay? So don't get mad at me. But say whatever the hell you want in the comments. That's what comments are for. I will never delete or block a comment unless it uses really bad words. February 1st, we're going to make a save. Come on, we can do it. Get in there. I'm so proud of you, Union AI, for not fighting in the frickin' winter.